Okay, everybody. Well, I am very happy to have you back. If you joined us on the last call, thank you. If you are here for your first event of today's day-long event series, we are very glad to have you with us at this point. Just a reminder, at 2 o'clock, this is all Central Time, at 2 o'clock today, we do have roundtables with 4 different carrier reps. So if you're able to join us for that call, a Zoom link was sent directly to you in our email this morning. That you have to use that link versus how this call you got a link sent to you from Zoom. So just make sure you use that link in that email. We may push it out one more time right before that call too, just so it's at the top of your inbox. So join us for that. If you've got another hour at 2 o'clock, you'll get to meet 4 different carrier reps and hear some sales ideas and different opportunities and resources that they have for you in some small one-on-one rooms. That will be group discussions, unlike these where it's a webinar setup where you're just watching our presenters. So that one will be more hands-on, as you could say, I guess. So for this call, we are very excited to have a discussion around Social Security and understanding the many layers that reside within that topic. So we have Protective is our carrier for this conversation. We are very thankful for them to bring on their speaker, Jody Harris, with us today. Our Protective rep is actually out on vacation, so she's enjoying a beach somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce Jody, give you a little bit of background on him, and then I will pass it over to him to take control of the slides and present this great topic to us. So Jody comes from us. He worked with the Social Security Administration for over 34 years. 10 of those, he was serving as the public relations officer. He has held staff member positions to both the Commissioner of the Social Security Administration and the United States Senators. At the time of his retirement, Jody's title was Public Affairs Specialist of Alabama, which saw him responsible for the Social Security Administration education and outreach program within the state. For his outreach work, Jody received prestigious Deputy Commissioner Award, the second highest accolade within the Social Security Administration. 1 year earlier, in 2001, Jody was the recipient of the Associate Commissioner's Award for part of his starting the Social Security Internet Claims process that is still in use today. His current role as Social Security consultant, Jody utilizes his extensive experience within the financial community to educate advisors on what to expect from Social Security, how to obtain benefits, and identify sales opportunities within retirement income planning. So I'm very excited to bring him to you to share with us all of his insight and knowledge. If you do have questions along the way, we'll save the questions until the end, but there is a chat feature. You can, if you think of something as he's speaking, share it. If it doesn't get covered and answered while he's speaking, we can then use it discuss it at the end. So just go ahead and share those questions along the way. And Jody, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. And today we're going to try to learn a little bit about Social Security. And it's not letting me, there it goes.
Yep.
All right. And here's our little standard disclaimer. It's kind of the same thing that y'all use. And I'll give you the Cliff Note version. I'm not responsible for anything. So that's where we're starting from. Seriously, though, Social Security is important to almost everyone. Almost everyone you touch get something from Social Security. So people ask me, what's the biggest mistake you see people make concerning that Social Security? I think the biggest mistake individuals make is they look at Social Security and they make an emotional decision about their benefits as opposed to a financial decision. Social Security is a significant financial asset and you need to treat it as such. And the next question I get, well, how much can you get from Social Security? Well, the benefits can be quite substantial, but the average Social Security check, retirement check this year is $1,657 a month. So the average person gets about $20,000 a year from Social Security. And that serves the purpose of Social Security. Social Security was put in place to provide a base income to get you out of poverty. But people say, okay, what's the most you can get? Well, if you're like my friend Sam here, you've been a lifetime high wage earner. Sam is eligible for the maximum Social Security payment for individuals starting benefits this year, $3,345 a month. Sam's wife, Sue, has been a stay-at-home spouse. She is eligible for an amount equal to 1/2 of what Sam is receiving. Between the two of them, they will receive over $60,000 a year. This is the same as having $1 million asset. So that's why I think it's very important that you treat Social Security just like you do your other financial assets and make a good financial decision about benefits. All of us face some challenges when we're talking about Social Security. And I think the most common first one is you've got a group of people who say that it won't be there. I'll never see a check. I don't even know why we're talking about this. And they say this because they don't understand the program. They don't understand how it's financed, and they don't understand the key financial decisions they need to be prepared to make when they're ready to start benefits. What you need to understand about Social Security, I want you to understand what it is as opposed to what you think it is. Social Security is not your savings or investment program. Social Security is an income transfer program between generations, and it is a pay-as-you-go program. The Social Security taxes, that FICA tax that you pay in September, will immediately be used in October to pay benefits to your parents and grandparents. The money moves immediately from the working generation back to the retired generation. And that's the way Social Security has always been funded since the beginning. It is a pay-as-you-go system. Now, when Social Security started in 1935, it just turned 87 years old in August, the rules were a little different than today. When Social Security started, the only person that received a payment was the retired worker, no one else. Just the retired worker, and they had to be 65 years old. There was not an early retirement option like there is today. When 1937, life expectancy was only 63. So most individuals died before they ever received a payment, and the ones that did get it got it for 2 or 3 years. Well, you fast forward to today, the system's not as good today as it was in the beginning. And several things have happened. The first one is you're paying a lot of additional individuals' benefits out of Social Security's money today. You're paying not only the retired individual, you're paying benefits to their spouse, to a divorced individual, you're paying children, you're paying disability benefits, and you're paying survivor benefits. A couple of demographic issues have hit the program hard. The first one, the baby boomers, those of us born in the 50s and 60s, we did not have enough children. If you think back to the 50s and 60s, families then had 2, 3, and 4 children. Well, you jump forward to today, got to the 80s and 90s and later, families have none, 1, or 2 children. So us baby boomers did not put enough kids back in the front end of the system. But the most significant thing that happened, my parents did not cooperate by dying. They didn't live 2 or 3 years in retirement. They lived 2 and 3 decades in retirement. My father-in-law died last year. He was 91 years old. He drew Social Security benefits almost 30 years. Average life expectancy today is 85, not 63. But an even more interesting statistic, if you're 65 years old right now, you have a 1 in 3 chance of living to at least 90. So you need to look at Social Security different than what your parents and grandparents did, because your circumstances today are different than theirs. When Social Security started, there were about 40 people paying taxes for everyone that received a payment. Today, there's 2.8 people paying taxes for everyone receiving a payment. And the projections are in about 12 years, there will be 2 people paying taxes for everyone that received a payment. Every year when the Social Security trustee report comes out, you get this blast of information about the system being broke, it's being insolvent, it's bankrupt. Social Security, under the current law, cannot go bankrupt. The current trustee report says that Social Security has adequate revenue to pay benefits in full till about 2035, about 12 or 13 more years. At that point, if Congress does nothing, everyone will take a 20% cut in payments. The current law requires payments going out to match the revenue coming in. So the trustees project that they'll have to do a 20% payment cut in 2035 if Congress does nothing. Now, Social Security has gotten to this point twice in the 87-year history of the program, and both times Congress took action to put additional resources into the program so benefits were paid in full. I fully expect that to happen this time, but I also understand a problem that is 10 to 12 years in the future doesn't have a sense of urgency in Congress at this moment in time. There's not really any bills currently pending to significantly address this concern. You just need to pay attention to what the politicians bring up and what Congress is talking about going forward. But I feel very comfortable that Congress will step in and put additional resources into Social Security so payments can continue in full. Now, how do you help your clients prepare for retirement in today's environment with this going on? Well, when you get ready to sit on your retirement stool, you'll have resources coming from a variety of areas. You'll have Social Security benefits. Some of you will have pensions, either defined benefit plan, defined contribution. You'll have savings, investments, you'll have annuities, you'll have insurance. Some of you may still be working. But today we're going to focus on the Social Security leg of our retirement plan. How do you know what to expect from Social Security? We go to socialsecurity.gov or ssa.gov, click on My Account, and you can download your Social Security statement immediately from the Social Security's webpage. You need to do this every year. Your clients need to bring their statement in when you meet with them to discuss their plans so you can understand what they can expect from Social Security. You know what they say their needs are, then you can put together a good plan to fill the gap, because Social Security benefits were never intended to be your retirement plan. It was just put in place to provide a base income to get you out of poverty. So you need to know what that number is so you know how big the gap is and you can put together a solid plan for their retirement. Now, let's talk about the actual benefits for a little while. What you control, what you don't control, and the key financial decisions you need to be prepared to make. First thing, to clear up some misconceptions about Social Security. Social Security benefits are based on your highest 35 years of work. Social Security is looking at a snapshot of your entire lifetime of employment. It is not like a private pension where it's your high 3 or high 5 or some number like that. Social Security is looking at your highest 35 years over your lifetime. To qualify for Social Security retirement benefit, you need 40 credits. Now, it used to be called 40 quarters of coverage, but today it's a credit and it's based on earnings. $1,510 in earnings gets you 1 credit in 2022. So if you have $6,040 worth of earnings this year, you got your 4 credits. Once you have your 40 credits, 10 years worth of work, then Social Security is looking at your highest 35 years of earnings over your lifetime. But to help you, Social Security will not use your actual earnings for most of those 35 years. Social Security takes all the earnings that you had prior to age 60 and indexes those dollars up to what a dollar is worth the year you turn 60. Everything from 60 forward will be actual earnings, but anything before 60 turns into a pretend number, an index number. I'll give you a quick example of how that would work. Say you were working in 1975, 45 years ago, and you earned $10,000 that year. That was pretty good money in 1975. That's poverty level today. When your benefits were determined this year, you got credit for almost $60,000 for 1975 because that's the value of that $10,000 today, and you're retiring today. You're not retiring decades ago. So you take all of your earnings before age 60, those numbers are indexed up to current value. Everything from 60 forward will always be actual dollars. Pick the highest 35 years out of that group, add it all together, you get a big number, divide it by 420, that's the number of months in 35 years. That gives your average index monthly earnings. That number goes into a benefit formula, and that gives you your benefit payment at your full retirement age. And everybody answer, well, what's this full retirement age stuff? That's at what point you would receive an unreduced Social Security payment. So as you know, that's been changing over the years, but now it is stabilized. So everyone that is turning 62 this year, they were born 1960, going forward, they were born 1960 or later, their full retirement age is 67. And there are not currently any plans in the works to change this. If you wait until your full retirement age to start your benefits, you get it all. And it's not letting me change the page. Hang on. There it goes. If you wait until your full retirement age, you get everything. You can start Social Security retirement benefits as early as age 62 if you choose. If you do, your payments are reduced. They're reduced a fraction of a percent for every month you take a payment early. Every individual month matters. The closer you get to your full retirement age before you begin payments, the smaller the penalty. But worst case number, if your full retirement age is 67 and you start at 62, you will have a 30% penalty. You lose 30% of your benefits. You can also grow your retirement payments if you delay payment after your full retirement age. You can delay it to as late as age 70. You get a bonus. It's 2/3 of 1% per month, 8% per year. So if your full retirement age is 67 and you wait to 70, you get a 24% bonus. And this is the key financial decision you need to make, and it can make a dramatic difference in benefits. And here's a simple example. Say you would do $1,000 at 67. If you started at 62, you'd only get $700. Where if you'd waited to 70, you get $1,240. You can change your payment amount 76% based on the decision you make. And this is the key financial decision you control. You can't control what you worked and earned over your lifetime. That's already happened. but you can control when you begin payments. And people will ask you, what should I do? What should I do? What's the right thing for me? So simple answer. You should do what is best for you. It's a unique individual decision. Each of you could make a different one because each of you have different circumstances. But you need to know what you want to do before you contact Social Security to file a claim, because Social Security employees do not provide financial guidance. Maybe some things you look at. You have other resources that you can use now and let Social Security grow, or do you want to use the Social Security payments as early as possible at 62 and conserve your other resources? How's your health? What's your longevity? Does your family die at 70? Does your family die at 90? Are you still working? Do you have other income coming in? Are there other people that can receive payment off of your record? Can you get payment off of somebody else's record? A lot of things to think about. But once you've decided you want to file for benefits, then you contact Social Security. You will be asked a series of questions to help identify, are there other individuals that can receive payment off of your record, or can you receive payment off the record of another person? First question you're going to be asked, are you married? Social Security is looking to see, is there a current spouse? Your current spouse, if they wait until their own full retirement age to file for benefits, can receive an amount equal to 1/2 of your full retirement amount. Notice I did not say they get half your check. You get yours regardless. This is an additional amount due your spouse. Your spouse can start benefits as early as 62 if they choose, just like you can on your retirement. But of course, there's a penalty for starting early. And at 62, they only get 32.5% of your amount, not half. The only way they get half is if they wait to their own full retirement age to file for any benefits. Some important rules for your current spouse. Number one, they cannot file for anything off of your record until you file your own retirement claim. You must start yours for them to get anything. They can file their own retirement claim and move to yours if they get more when you file. But the only way they can get that 50% share is if they wait until their own full retirement age to file for anything. When they file for spouse payments, they must file their own retirement claim at the same time. They no longer get to pick and choose which one to file, and they get the larger of the two, not both. So they have to be 62 or older. You have to file your own retirement claim, and they get the larger of the two. They have to file their retirement at the same time they file for spouse. Next question. Have you ever been married before? Is there a former spouse out there? Your former spouse can get the same benefits that the actual spouse gets. So if they wait until their full retirement age, they can get that 50% share. They start early, at 62, they're only getting 32.5%. Benefits paid to your former spouse have no impact on anything paid to you, nor does it impact anything paid to your current spouse. And there's some important changes for someone filing for divorced spouse benefits. Remember, I told you that your current spouse could not get benefits until you file your own retirement claim, where your ex can. They don't have to wait on you. So if you're at least 62, where you could file a retirement claim, and they are at least 62, they can file on your record regardless. They don't have to wait on you to file a claim. But again, when they file for divorced spouse benefits, they must file their own retirement claim at the same time. They get the larger of the two, and it's almost always their own retirement benefit. You will be asked, do you have any children under 18? If you do, that child gets benefits until they're 18. They can get it up to 19 if they're in high school, but Social Security no longer pays for kids to go to college. You will also be asked, do you have a child with a disability? The child with a disability has some unique rules. You have a child with a disability, as long as that disability started before that child was 22 years old, and that child has never married, they can receive payment off of your record when you start benefits. It does not matter how old that child is today, as long as the disability started before that child was 22 and they have never married. So that's the reason you might want to start benefits at 62 rather than full retirement age, because you might have other people that receive payment off of your record. Just some things to think about. Then people say, well, what if I'm dead? Well, Social Security pays survivor benefits also. Your widow or widower, at their full retirement age, can receive an amount equal to 100% of what you would have been due if you were alive that day. Now, that's kind of government speak, so I'm going to tell you in English what I said. When you get ready to file your own retirement claim, you're making a decision about what you will receive today and what your widow will receive tomorrow. If you elect to start your own retirement payment before your full retirement age, you're taking a reduced retirement check. You're capping what your survivor can receive. They can get no more than you would have gotten had you continued to live and you were receiving a reduced payment. Conversely, if you delay taking your payments after your full retirement age to get that bonus, 2/3 of 1% per month, 8% a year, up to age 70, your widow can get that bonus. They get that increase. They get what you would have gotten had you continued to live. And if you delayed payment, you would get that higher amount. A widow can start payments as early as age 60 or 50 if they're disabled. Of course, there's a penalty for starting early at 60 or 50, either one. They take a 28.5% cut in benefits. They only get 71.5% of the survivor amount. A widow can get benefits at any age if they have a child under 16 in their care or a disabled child. The important thing here for you to be aware of, you're dealing with a younger widow, say 52, 55, whatever. They're not 60 years old yet. There are no children involved and no one is disabled. There are no survivor benefits due that widow. You need to have a plan in place to help that person. There's nothing coming from Social Security until they turn at least 60. And divorced widows get the same benefits as the actual widows. Remember, I told you earlier on divorce benefits, if they remarry, they lose the payment. Well, a widow or divorced widow has the option. If they can remarry and keep the survivor payments, as long as they remarry after age 60. If they remarry before age 60, they lose the survivor benefits. If they remarry after, they keep them. Then survivors have a filing strategy that is available for them that is not available to anyone else. Survivor benefits are a death payment, where your own retirement benefit is a life payment. You can always start one and defer the other one. You can start the survivor payment at 60 and wait on your own retirement payment to later, wait as late as age 70 and switch over if it's going to be higher, or you can do just the opposite. You can start the retirement payment at 62 and at full retirement age, switch to the higher survivor payment. You need to look for every widow or widower you work with. You need to look at what their Social Security survivor benefit is and what their own Social Security retirement payment would be, at full retirement age and at age 70 and figure out which sequence do you need to file for benefits to maximize their income over their lifetime. And I'll give you a quick example using my sister. My sister is a widow. Her income was always higher than her deceased husband. She is starting survivor benefits on his smaller Social Security record at 63. So she's going to take the smaller survivor benefit, and it's going to be reduced 4 years because she's taking it 4 years before her full retirement age. She's going to let her own higher Social Security retirement payment continue to grow to 70, so she get that 24% bonus. When she reaches 70, she will stop the survivor payment, the smaller amount, and switch over to her ongoing retirement payment and receive that the rest of her life. This allows her to get 7 years worth of payments as a survivor that have no impact on her ongoing higher retirement amount. So you need to look at that if you're dealing with a survivor to see what the best sequence to file for benefits. Again, if you have children, they are due survivor benefits. Children under 18, they get them, and that disabled child gets them. And that disabled child will get those benefits the rest of their life as long as they do not marry and their medical condition doesn't improve, so they return to work. Now, some things that impact Social Security benefits. The first and most common one is work and employment. Two scenarios here. If you're receiving any type of Social Security payment and you have not reached your full retirement age, it can be retirement benefits, it can be spouse, survivor benefits, benefits to a child, any type of Social Security payment, and you have not reached full retirement age, there are restrictions on your earned income from employment. 19,560 is the limit this year. You go over that, you lose $1 in benefits for every $2 you're above that limit. The only thing that counts here is earned income from employment. Once you reach your full retirement age, the work restrictions disappear. If you're full retirement age or older, then you can earn as much as you wish and still receive your Social Security benefits every month with no offsets. Then there's taxes. And you understand that you pay the FICA tax on your wages while you're working to fund Social Security. Once you start receiving Social Security benefits, you could owe federal income tax on a portion of the Social Security benefits received. Now, I'm not the tax expert, but I just want to warn you that this is coming for most, if not all, of your clients. So you're looking at provisional income. That's all their income from wages, self-employment, pensions, investments, plus non-reportable income like municipal bond, tax-free bonds, plus any other exclusion, maybe foreign work, plus half of your Social Security payments, plus half of your spouse's Social Security payments. That number is higher than $32,000 for someone filing joint or $25,000 for someone filing single. Then you owe federal income tax on a portion of the Social Security benefits paid that year. If it's higher than $44,000 for someone filing joint or $34,000 for someone filing single, then you owe federal income tax on 85% of the Social Security payments received that year. You will get a 1099 from Social Security each year. Make sure your clients are aware of this. This normally comes as quite a surprise that first year they're receiving Social Security benefits when they get ready to file their income tax, and all of a sudden here's some extra earnings I have to consider in my tax base. And I didn't think about this before. It's taxed as ordinary income in whatever tax bracket you fall into. Then those of you who deal with government employees, who work for government agencies and they did not participate in Social Security. They did not pay FICA taxes on their earnings at that government agency, and they qualify for a pension from that agency. There are two provisions that impact them. One is bad and the other one is awful. So we're going to start with bad. Bad is the Windfall Elimination provision. You'll see that abbreviated WEP, W-E-P. That's for people that are receiving a government pension from an agency where they did not participate in Social Security and they have worked at least 10 years somewhere, so they qualify for Social Security retirement benefit. That retirement benefit from Social Security is determined using a modified formula that can reduce the payment up to $512 per month, but you still get something from your Social Security retirement account. Then there's government pension offset. This is the bad one. This is the awful one, rather. This is for the same person that worked for a government agency. They did not participate in Social Security. They did not have that FICA tax paid. And they want to file for benefits as a spouse or a survivor on the Social Security record of another person. Those spousal payments, that 50% share, or that survivor payment, that 100% share, are figured just like normal. And then you take 2/3 of their monthly government pension amount, whatever their monthly pension is, and subtract that dollar for dollar from any benefits they're due Social Security as a spouse or as a survivor. And most of the time it makes that number 0. They get nothing. So just be aware that these two provisions only apply to individuals that work for government agencies and did not participate in Social Security. They paid Social Security taxes on those earnings at their agency. They get their full Social Security benefits with no offsets and their pension, not a problem at all. All right, we're ready to answer any questions. Elizabeth, you want to take control of the screen back, and then if y'all will feed me some questions, if they have any, we'll be glad to try to answer some.
Absolutely. Let me see. All right. I've got control of the screen again. Okay, we did have a question. This actually was right in the beginning. I don't think we touched on this. How will a retired teacher's spousal survival access to higher earnings spouse's Social Security benefit be impacted? Did I read that right? I think I read that right.
Well, that was the last slide that we just covered, and it depends on whether that teacher participated in Social Security at their earnings. Okay. So if they did, it won't have any impact at all. If they did not, then the government pension offset will apply to them. You will take 2/3 of their teacher's pension and subtract that dollar for dollar from any benefits they're due as a spouse or as a survivor. The key here is, did that teacher pay Social Security taxes on their earnings? If they did, they're good. If they did not, that offset applies.
Perfect. Yeah, he did ask that at about 12:35. So we might have answered it throughout, but all right. Do we have any other questions? I know this is a very in-depth topic. So if you are typing your questions, we'll give you a minute here to send them over.
And if you have questions later, if you will email them to Amanda, she'll be glad to get you an answer. And when you do, give her as much information as you can about your situation, because sometimes one little detail makes a difference.
Are there any commonly asked questions you see pretty routinely, Jody? Obviously, your presentation covers a lot of that, but
I think one of the issues is people get confused about the spousal payments because there used to be some different rules, and they could file for one and not file for the other, but that's all gone away now. So now the simple answer is when you file for spouse payments, you're filing for everything. The only one that has any type of ability to manipulate benefits now will be people filing for survivor benefits.
Very good. All right, we did have someone ask, so for those of you on the call, if the presentation would be available. We do have a PDF version of it. So again, we'll send out an after event email, thanking everybody for registering. So in there too, we'll make mention if you do have questions that come up about Social Security or anything else, you can obviously send them our way and we can get them answered. But with that too, we'll provide as many resources as well as recordings along with it. Like this is being recorded right now. So following, if you were on early to the last call, I showed you on our website, we have some professional resources that will also hold current and past webinars. So you will also be able to find any recordings that are available and things on that as well. So you'll get resources in a variety of ways from us after the events today. All right, well, I guess you mastered the topic. We have no more questions coming in.
Good enough for now.
All right.
They'll think of something later. Just be sure and email them to Amanda.
Sounds wonderful. Well, everybody enjoy your extra long break and we look forward to seeing you at 2 o'clock. Make sure you follow that Zoom link in the email sent this morning. We will see you all there.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Jody. Thank you so much for your time and insight. We appreciate you.